Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Again, take out your notes from yesterday. We're going to add to them. We're going to start the class today. Like I told you guys, we're going to talk about the OG, the original Americans that were here in America this entire time before the Europeans came and conquered and colonized and took over, okay? But we're going to talk about what their culture, what their society was like, how they came to be, all that fun stuff, okay? Pulling up the chat. Yeah, I noticed that too, Giovanni. So, yeah, I don't know why that's. Let me see. So I'm just gonna assume that I have two Jose's because one Jose's computer wasn't working. But I also noticed that I have two. Is there two Alfredos? No. One, Maddie, Elias, Elina, Alfredo, Thomas, Levany, Leo, Jose, Joe. Okay, no, we're good. Yikes, Jose. Shout out to Jose who didn't get a lot of sleep. I didn't get a lot of sleep either. Okay, guys, let's do this. Like I said, one more time to the people that just came in, welcome. Look at my canvas. Modules are back. Now you have a place to turn in your notes today. If I open that up right now, bam, it's going to show up. The first module of the quarter, week 31. Yes, baby, it's been 31 weeks, guys. We've gone through 31 weeks of school. You guys are amazing. We just got to go through 6 more weeks and we're done with the school year. Got to push through 6 more weeks, okay? Yesterday's video, yesterday's recording, it was there, okay? So if you guys ever have an issue listening to me because your audio on your Chromebook suck, right there's the video to go to. And today, this is where you're going to turn in your notes. Okay, I'm going to open that up right now. Right here, it says, please take a picture of your notes from this week and turn them in here. If you type them out, you can also upload them here. If you need help, Mrs. Escobar can help you upload your notes on Zoom. And I'm going to help you do that right now. So some of you guys, in case you guys forgot how to turn in a picture or a document onto Canvas, the first thing you want to do is obviously put the start assignment button, right? Obviously. And then you'll see that this thing down here will show up. And if you want to take a picture of your notes that you wrote down, you want to open up this button right here where it says media. Okay, so I'm going to open up that button right there. And then you're going to get this button that says record and upload media. You want to open that button right there. And you get this little pop-up screen that I really don't know if you guys can see right now because sometimes I don't know. But anyways, you're going to press this button. I don't know if you guys can see it. It says start recording. When you press that button, it's going to say 3, 2, 1. You're just going to show your you're going to show your notes. Okay, you're going to show your notes and make sure that I can see all your notes, right? I don't want to just see a part of your notes. Just make sure that you move your little cute little paper around so that I can see all your notes. If you have 2 pages, flip the page over or whatever. You're going to press save right there. It's going to show up right here. It says ready to submit. Click assignment button. Click submit assignment button to finish. And so you're just going to put submit assignment right here. If you did your notes yesterday on a Google document because you hate writing, you prefer typing, then you're going to open up this button right here that says Google Drive. Okay, that button right there should pull up your school email. Mine is Brenda Escobar, so I'm going to put select file right here. And when I do that, it's going to, there's like a little pop-up screen that I really don't know if you guys can see right now. But in that pop-up screen, basically you just find, you select your document, you add it, attach, and then it shows up right there, submit assignment. Okay, so yeah, that's how you do it. You're going to do that today so that you don't have any missing assignments and you keep your A up, okay? And you keep that 100%, ladies and gentlemen. And then on Monday, you find another way to keep your 100% up. And then Tuesday, day by day, you're going to keep that 100% up, guys. I believe in you. And now, time for the notes. Today, I actually have a Google slide presentation. So you guys can literally copy the notes off my screen. And that counts as notes, guys. You could literally just copy, and that will be a part of the assignment. I told you the assignment is easy. All right. So I called this the OG Americans slide because they're the original Americans that were here. White people weren't here. Black people weren't here. Asian people weren't here. The Aztecs, the Incas, the Native Americans, the Mayans, you could even involve the Olmec, the Zapotecs. Those people were here first, okay? And let's begin. This is just a beautiful picture that I wanted to show you guys. This was the vibe of the Mayan culture. They had huge pyramids / temples, right? This is a place of worship for them. This was a place where the king would live. This was a place where the highest elite people would live in. And if you're a farmer or a merchant or a soldier or a slave, you wouldn't live in these. You would live in little huts or little homes around the temple. But yes, now this information right here is the information I told you guys yesterday. Okay, remember yesterday when we talked about how the first Americans got here? It was through that Ice Age bridge, that ice bridge. Basically, it's all right there. I'm not really going to show you guys that because I talked about it yesterday, guys. Okay, this is an actual artwork from the Mayans, okay? And I want you guys to notice the way they're dressed. And some of you guys think, haha, funny because you're immature and lame, with peace and love. But if you're mature and cool and awesome, you look at this and you respect it, right? This is what their lifestyle was. If you guys have ever been to Mexico, if you guys have ever been to Guatemala, Salvador, Honduras, it doesn't really ever get that cold, right? You're closer to the equator, so it's hotter there. So there's no reason to be wearing a lot of clothes like we do, right? Also, they they weren't Christian, right? So they didn't have the idea that, seeing other people's body parts is a sin or whatever, or it's not okay. To them, the ladies usually had their breasts out. It was normal to, just cover your private parts, right? Your private parts. I'm not going to tell you what your private parts are. You guys know what your private parts are. So it was usually just common just for that to be covered. Okay. If you guys notice, excuse me, it was really normal. In fact, it was their fashion. It was their style to have a bunch of piercings all over their style. They literally thought that the more piercings you had, the more tattoos you had, that's the more beautiful you were. And we respect that. We love to see it, right? They would have huge piercings. Sorry, my microphone fell. Sorry about that. Huge piercings put in their ears, sometimes in their lips. Sometimes, let me take my glasses off. Sometimes it would go through their eyes right here, their lips, their nose. The more you had, the more, bougie you were, right? The more respected, and probably the more higher you were in society, right? The more crazy things you had on your face, the more respected you were. The less, if they looked at us, right? And a lot of us, I don't think, are super duper pierced or tattooed. That meant we were probably the poor people. We were probably like the slaves or the farmers, right? But the more elite you were, the more fashion you had, okay? Now, before we talk about the Mayans, this is another thing that I'm not going to talk too much about, so you guys actually don't have to write any of this down right here. But we have to talk about the Olmecs and the Zapotecs. I'm going to say that again. The Olmecs and the Zapotecs. They're the first group of people that lived thousands of years before the Mayans, okay? And I'm just going to mention them quickly because I talked about them way too long in first period and I ran out of time. So basically, the Olmecs were the first, civilization here in America. We don't know much about them because they existed a long time ago. And the Olmecs didn't have anything to write. They didn't have a writing system, right? We can write, and maybe someone in the future can find whatever you wrote and kind of figure out what our life was. But they didn't have a writing system. So we don't really know much about them. All we know is that they left these huge, beautiful statues that are thousands of years old. That's about it. Okay. Again, you do not have to write this slide down. Okay, because this is just background information before we talked about the Mayans. Okay. One more time, you do not have to write any of this down because it's just background information. One thing that we do know about the Olmecs that the Mayans copied them in doing, is they had a slash and burn agriculture. That basically meant that where they lived, and I'll show you guys on the Google Earth, where they lived, it wasn't like here where it's all soil, where if we dig, it's just dirt, or soil. Where they lived, it's built on huge stone. You guys know, can you plant agriculture on stone? No, I bet you 1000% that if you guys try to, put a seed on a piece of rock and water it, that's obviously not going to to grow, right? And they knew that. So what they would do is they would find places that weren't on top of stone, which is, by the way, why they had a lot of temples, because they had stone for days. Okay. So they would find a place that wasn't built on stone and they would burn it on purpose. They would burn all the land down on purpose. Why? Because the ash from fire and the warmth of the fire makes the soil at the bottom really nice and moist. And it basically turns dirt into soil. And that's how their agriculture would go. That's kind of all we kind of know about them. And we know that the Mayans took that practice from them. Another group of people that you really don't need to, I'm not going to test you guys on, are the Zapotecs. They're the first group of people in America that had a system of writing. And that's something that the Mayans also took from them. So they took the slash and burn agriculture and they took their system of writing and they made it their own thing. And now, finally, we're going to talk about the actual Mayans, okay? Here we go. This is just an image, kind of give you a vibe of how things would go, what a regular day would look like for them. Again, these guys were more bougie because you could tell because they just have more on them. The feathers are a huge symbol of respect. Probably like feathers are equivalent to wearing Supreme or I don't know, Balenciagas today to them, right? Feathers, if you had a feather somewhere on you, that means you were rich and important, right? And usually this is such a potato quality picture, I apologize, but right here you can tell that there's people that just don't look as feathery, right? That's because a lot of the people there were probably normal people just going to the temple, going to pray to their gods. Notice how I put it in S at the end, because they didn't believe in just one God like Jewish people, like Christians, or like Muslims. They believed in several gods. And the most important gods to them, the most powerful god they had was does anyone know in the chat? Does anyone know in the chat? It's a 3-letter word. We see this thing and this object every day, actually. 3-letter word. Starts with an S, and we see it every day from morning to sunset. The sun. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you, Citlali. Y'all are on a roll today. They would worship the sun. They would worship a lot of things. They would worship the moon, the stars, but the sun was like, they're like, wow, without this, we wouldn't be able to grow anything. Without this huge thing in the sky, we wouldn't be able to see each other in the day normally, right? So the sun was the god that they worshiped the most. They had the most respect for, but we'll talk about their religion in a bit. Right now, let's just kind of talk them again. Right here, you can finally start copying down some notes. So go ahead and start copying down some notes while I talk about them. Actually, stop it. I got to show you guys Google Earth first. Where's Google Earth? So the Mayans are, if I zoom in, they specifically are from this land right here. It's kind of like at the bottom of Mexico, around Guatemala, around Belize. Let me get my red drawing tool. This entire area is where the Mayans dominated, okay? And this is known as the Yucatan Peninsula. The Yucatan Peninsula. Peninsula. You might want to write that down, maybe. I don't know. You choose what's on your notes, guys. I respect you guys. You choose what's on your notes. The Yucatan Peninsula, this is where they are from. People usually think that the Mayans are from Mexico, and they are. If you guys notice this right here, I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to use a yellow line. Everything on the left side of that yellow line is Mexico, but they were part of the south side of Mexico. The Aztecs, which we'll talk about next week, they're from up here. Okay. Mayans, Aztecs, different people. We'll talk about the differences next week. Okay. All right. Now let me go back to the slides. And now you guys can just copy words and add them to your notes. Go ahead, my beautiful friends. So basically, I'm going to make this one short. Yes, Jose, that's it. The Yucatan Peninsula. Let me write that in the chat so that you guys know how to spell that in case you guys want to add that to your notes. Yucatan. You literally just have to sound in a Yucatan Peninsula. Peninsula. I'm sending that to everyone in the chat in 3, 2, 1. There it is. Okay. While you guys are writing that down, I hope you guys can just listen to my beautiful voice. Sorry, I'm annoying. Anyways, you know what I find very crazy? I find crazy that the old world, which you guys know what it is, right? Africa, Europe, and Asia, had no idea that the new world existed. And the new world had no idea that the old world existed. And yet, they were kind of the same. Here's how. They had a king. They had nobles. They had priests, right? And those are the people at the very top. In the middle, they had merchants, right? People that sell and buy things. They had farmers. And at the very bottom, just like in a lot of places in Europe, Africa, and Asia, they had slaves. They had the poor people, the peasants, right? And that to me is just crazy. The fact that this new world and old world had no idea of each other's existence, and they kind of had the same system, right? The same kind of society where you have rich and powerful people, you have people in the middle, and then you have people at the very, very bottom ranks, right? So to me, that's just pretty entertaining, that's cool. Like, wow, they had no idea of each other and they had the same system in place. Their temples were a place where they would go worship their gods. I already said that. People, normal people, right? The people that weren't super heavily with feathers or tattoos or with piercings, those are the regular people. They would just live in little houses and huts around the temple, right? And they would just kind of farm all day. Some of them were craft workers, so some of them would make their shoes. Some people would make their metals. They would devote their lives to making like their weapons, right? Because they had weapons. They would go into war. Like let's pretend that they didn't have queens as their leaders, but let's pretend that they had a queen, and let's pretend that I was the Mayan queen. Ooh, yes, I'm the queen. Yes. Anyways, and let's pretend that I find Jose kind of on the edge of the city, and I realize that he's not from my kingdom, right? He's not Mayan. He's just a regular guy who doesn't belong to anyone. I'm not going to say, hey, guy, hey, buddy, do you need anything? No, I'm going to take him in. He's going to either become a prisoner, a slave, or I need someone to sacrifice to the sun. I might just sacrifice him, right? So people had, and let's just say Jose also admits that he comes from like a tribe that wants to challenge the Mayans, right? And I say, Jose, where's your tribe from? And I find out that in Jose's tribe, you got Giovanni, you got Elena, you got Elias, Itlali, who also are from that tribe. So I'm going to go find them. And again, I can either fight them with my weapons. I could take them in as prisoners. I could take them in as slaves. I could just, sacrifice their hearts. That was normal. Okay. Some of their food, why do you guys think that Mexicans like spicy food? Chile, right? Chile was a thing that was popular everywhere around this Yucatan Peninsula, okay? Their food was usually surrounded by chile, maize, or in English, it's also known as maize or corn. Corn was very important. Why do you think that Mexicans are always having corn tortillas? Same with my Guatemalan homies, my Salvadorian homies, my Honduran homies, my Costa Rican homies. Corn tortillas are the thing, right? Flour, not so much. Flour was something more from Europe. Okay. Pozole. We talked about pozole yesterday, right? Corn is in there. Chocolate. You guys love chocolates. Those Snicker pieces, those Reese's, those Kit Kats. You know where we get chocolate from? We get it from these guys, these PogChamps. Cacao or cocoa, I never knew how to say them. Cacao or cocoa beans, that's where chocolate comes from. So they would have their hot chocolate in the morning, right? They would have their hot chocolate in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty awesome. Their most prized possession, you know how in Europe, in Africa, and in China, the most prized possession was a 4-letter word, starts with the G, ends with the D. What is that? It was their form of currency. G blank blank gold, right? Gold. Oh, he put good, but okay, there we go. Saying gold, right? Gold in the old world was like the most prized possession. But in the new world, guys, ladies and gentlemen, in the new world, gold is everywhere. Gold is on the floor. Gold is on the rivers. Gold is on a tree. Gold is under a tree. Gold was everywhere. So honestly, they didn't care about gold. Why? It's everywhere. It's just like seeing grass outside. It's just like seeing flowers and plants outside. Gold wasn't a thing to them. They placed no value in gold. They placed all the value in jade. And let me know if you guys are ready to go into the next slide so I can show you what jade looks like. Put a happy face in the chat so I know you guys are ready. Okay, we just got 3 readies. So that means people are still copying down some notes. So I'm going to let you guys finish copying down your notes, okay? Remember, you don't have to copy all of this, guys. Copy just 1 or 2 things. Or if you just want to copy something I said, that's totally fine. Notes are easy. Okay, now I'm getting a bunch of happy faces. So let me show you what jade is. And honestly, guys, I think jade is beautiful. Look at jade. It's like this rock that's bluish, greenish. It's kind of minty. This is what the Aztecs, the Mayans saw, and they were like, whoa. And so all these people that had these crazy piercings, their piercings were usually out of this material because this material is not an easy thing you could find. Now we make it for ourselves. And I even have this for my makeup in the morning. You put this in the morning before you put on your makeup. But anyways, I'm not gonna give you guys a makeup session. But yeah, it's like this beautiful, beautiful thing that you don't usually find. And it still is expensive, but because everything was colonized by the Europeans, we still place a lot of value in gold today, right? So gold is still more important than jade. But if it were up to the Mayans and the Aztecs, they're like, okay, gold, right? All right, let's go back to the presentation. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, here's just another, this is obviously not a photo from back then because cameras didn't exist, but it just kind of gives you a vibe of what things like were like that back then. You can obviously tell that this guy that's looking down on the people, clearly he's a dude that has like major importance. Look at all the feathers he has. I know that this is also a potato quality picture, but you can tell he has piercings. He has all this jewelry right here. And he's just looking down at people because he's probably a person of position, right? He's a king. This was normal. Clearly, he's about to have some kind of ritual, some kind of presentation for their god or whatever they were worshiping at the time. Probably some kind of human sacrifice is about to go down. All that fun stuff. Okay. And here are the notes. Go ahead and copy down whatever you want to copy down. And in the meantime, your teacher will explain it. So The Maya had the society, right? The nobles were at the very top, kings, officials, and priests. They were at the very top. In the middle were soldiers or people that would make crafts, right? Remember, crafts are people that make shoes or people that make, I don't know, or like those feather crowns. That would be a craft. People that would make jewelry out of jade or people that would make weapons, okay? And at the very, very bottom were the slaves, okay? The Maya had city states, meaning kind of like Bakersfield, Fresno, what's another city? Los Angeles. So they were all kind of the same, but they would live in different cities, if that makes any sense. Someone said in the chat, are you putting this on Canvas? Of course I am, guys. I got you. I will do that during third period because third period I don't have a class and that gives me time to put this into Canvas. I will also upload a video of this recording onto my YouTube and Canvas. So in case you guys missed something or if you guys want to rewatch something, this will also be uploaded onto Canvas today, I promise, okay? I got you guys, okay? I got you guys. Anyways, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Basically, I kind of already explained what was on this slide. It said, it's right here, the king was the head of the government, obviously. The Maya would go to war and take captives and enslave them. That's what I mentioned about Jose, Citlali, Giovanni, Elias. They also fought to control trade and land. And how many times have we seen this with the Europeans and the Mongols? And we even kind of saw it too when we learned about the Muslim empires. People are always fighting to control trade and land. People want more land. People want to take over land. And guess what? These people that had no idea that's also happening in the old world were also doing it in the new world. Okay. Cough, cough. Elena said in the chat, cough, cough many times. It happens all the time. Guys, literally the United States. I'm not even going to go into it. I'm not going to go into it because then I'll spend hours just talking about how the United States is going into all these countries and taking over poor people's lands just so we can have all these things, but whatever. I'm just gonna continue. You guys will learn about all of that in high school. It's sad. It's like, are we the best country in the world when we're taking over a lot of people's lands just for money? No say. Country has oil. That's the U.S. is our oil. Yeah, a lot of oil. How many wars have we got into for oil, for gas? All right, Jose, go ahead, copy that. Okay, give me a smiley face so I can go into the next slide. Because the smiley face, the next slide is the one I want to talk about the most. I need water. I'm so thirsty right now. Okay, I have like 7 happy faces. I'm going to take 2 more because I don't want to leave no man behind. By the way, when I say no man behind, I'm not saying just like the dudes. What I mean is like everyone. I'm not being sexist though. Shout out to all the genders. Okay, I got no person left behind. That's better, Elena. No person left behind. I love that. Elias said, my dad said that we are the most spoiled country. And Elias, your dad is totally right. We are the most spoiled country. We take everything for ourselves. Levany said, no human left behind. Okay, I see you. One said, don't worry, you won't get canceled. Thank you, One. I don't want to come out with my apology video on YouTube. Like David Dobrik. Did you guys see that? Okay, never mind. We're going to talk about that for hours. All right, we got 2 more. Let's go. This is the one that I wanted to show you guys. What are we looking at here? Type it in the chat. What are we looking at here, ladies and gentlemen? We're looking at human sacrifices, okay? Again, to us, this is very taboo. And you guys are probably saying, Mrs. Escobar, you just said a weird word that I've never heard of. What does taboo mean? Taboo means extremely weird and out of the ordinary. We would never see this today, right? But the Mayans and the Aztecs, this was part of their normal kind of day-to-day thing, you know. The sun, if you guys notice, especially the first, look at the first one on the left, this first picture on the left. Notice how this guy just took out this guy's heart out, right? And who is he looking at? He's looking at the sun, right? And they did it because they're looking at the sun and they're like, guys, without the sun, we would have nothing. Without the sun, we wouldn't have crops. Without the sun, we wouldn't be able to look at each other. Without the sun, we wouldn't feel warmth, right? Without the sun, this, without the sun, that. So they're like, we need to do something back for the sun, right? Should we give the sun like food? They're like, nah, that's not as important. Should we give the sun like, I don't know, jade? They're like, the sun doesn't really care about jade. The sun would want something that costs a lot, right? And of course, blood, right? Humans, we have blood. Without blood, we are not alive, right? And what's the one thing in our body that keeps us pumping and going every day? Ladies and gentlemen, it's our heart. Without our hearts, you and I are not existing. You and I are not alive, right? And they knew that. So out of respect to the sun, not because they were crazy people, it's literally because out of respect to the sun, that's why they would give their hearts to, literally their hearts, right? When I say to my husband, baby, I love you so much and I give you my heart, I mean that like, I'm in love with you, bro, till the day I die, right? I don't literally mean like, yo, baby, I'm about to give me a knife, dude, because I'm about to take out my heart and give it to you. No. But these people would literally do that. They're like, son, we love you so much. We will literally give you a heart, right? And this was literally a day-to-day thing. This was normal. Now, here's a huge difference that I want you guys to understand, okay, between the Mayans and the Aztecs, because you guys are going to learn about the Aztecs next week, I promise. But I do want to give you guys this heads up, okay? The Mayans, at first, hold on, I need to see the chat because yeah. So someone in the chat just said, don't they say if you look at the sun, you can become blind? You're right. You're absolutely right. And they knew that. They're not going to spend hours looking at the sun. They just would kind of respect it. In fact, they would almost look at it like, this sun for sure has to be the most powerful all-being God, because it's so powerful that you can't even look for it too long, right? They wouldn't stare at it. They knew that they couldn't look for it too long because it's so powerful it can mess you up. People thought, yo, and think about it, right? If you had no idea of like science or anything, if you were just as, you know, old school as these people, it kind of makes sense why they would respect the sun so much, right? They're like, look, the sun is so powerful. Guys, children, if you look at it for too long, you could lose your vision. And as a kid, and even as an adult, it kind of makes sense like, oh yeah, the sun is that powerful, right? Obviously we don't, unless you guys have a religion that I'm not aware of, but most of us don't really worship the sun. We like the sun. Thank you, sun. But we're not going to go around worshiping it. But if you do, I respect it. You're cool. I respect you. All right. All right. The thing I was going to say though, that something that's different is the Mayans at first, they would find Elias wandering around, right? And I'd just take Elias and I'd be like, okay, sacrifice to him. But as time went by, ladies and gentlemen, they're like, the sun is not going, no offense to Elias, with peace and love, Elias, you know I love you, dude. But they're going to be like, maybe the sun wouldn't want Elias. Elias is just a slave or a prisoner we captured, right? What if we give the sun a heart that has more power? So as the years went by, the Mayans stopped sacrificing slaves or prisoners or normal people, and they started sacrificing people of importance. And the people of importance, they knew, I got to do this for the sun. So it almost became willingly. And you saw time and time again, kings were totally okay. I'm okay to die because I was a king for this long, thanks to the sun, right? So it kind of evolved, right? It started from just taking poor slaves at the very bottom hearts. And then little by little, people started realizing the sun is not going to want someone with the least importance. The sun is going to want someone with the most importance. So you would, in the Mayan culture, towards the very end, you would see that kings would willingly do it. Priests would willingly do it. Nobles would willingly do it. Now, next week when we talk about the Aztecs were not sacrificing anyone out of importance. They were literally only sacrificing people that they would capture or slaves. That's the biggest difference between Mayan and Aztec society. We'll talk about the Aztecs next week. Here is some information that if you want to copy down right now, go ahead. Go. Actually, you guys have 2 minutes left. So if you guys want to copy 2 sentences real quickly, go ahead and write as fast as possible. And then turn that in. Okay, take a picture of it. I already showed you guys how. Turn it in, and then bam, you have your first assignment turned in, which means you have still a 100% in my class. Okay, to the people that aren't here on the Zoom and that don't really log on to Canvas, shout out to them. I love them, but they will already start this week or end this week with an F. It's sad, but true. This is why we don't like missing assignments, okay? And of course, someone just said in the chat that they'll do it after school. That's totally fine. This isn't due until 11:59, so you still have like 12 hours to turn this in. You have plenty of time. And remember, I'm going to upload this during third period. These slides, I'm going to upload them into Canvas. So if you want to add more to your slides because you're awesome, that's totally fine. Just wait until after third period. After third period, they will be added onto Canvas, okay? Yes, Alfredo, you may. Someone said in the chat, the Maya were religious people. They worshiped many gods. Yes. That's totally good, Jose. Alrighty, guys, and I think I'm gonna end it there. Did we learn some things today, guys? Did we learn a little bit today? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. Remember, we respect all these people, okay? We respect. They're not funny looking. They're not weird looking. They're the OG Americans, all right? I love you guys. Stay safe. I will see you guys on Monday, okay? Have a good weekend. Have fun. But remember to stay safe. Bye. Bye. Have a good day, guys. Bye.